Yo, what's going on, guys? Really quickly wanted to jump in here and showcase why I think most personal brands feel disconnected. Uh, it's a common thing that I see a lot when I speak to people that have been trying to build a personal brand for ages, or if they've just started. It's pretty easy to distill once you break it down into these three kind of components. And I break it down into dream follower and ideal client profile, or ICP, messaging hierarchy, and brand signals. Three very easy concepts once you understand a little bit about them. Most people know what an ideal client profile is, or an ICP. And there's this diagram that I have seen. And you kind of want to think of your ICP like a target. Red being very broad, yellow being a little bit more concise, blue being, again, a little bit more concise, green, and then the little black dot being exactly what I know. So, for example, if you were a fitness coach, you might be, I help people lose weight. You then might say, sorry, I help 18 to 25-year-olds lose weight. You then may lock in again and go, I help 18 to 25-year-olds who work at a desk lose weight. And then if you get even more deep, you might say, I help 18 to 25-year-olds who work at a desk and are limited in time lose weight. Very rough example, but you get the gist. Now, if you don't understand the importance of an ICP, I'm assuming a lot of you do, but if you don't have an ICP, you have no idea who you're targeting, right? And if you don't have any idea who you're targeting with your business, you kind of need to go back to business basics. In recap, your ICP is your buyer, but what is the dream follower? And you've probably heard this idea of a dream follower floating around Instagram for quite a while, but think of a dream follower as an extended form of your ICP. And the reason we want to make content for your dream follower and not your ICP is because your ICP, total accessible market, or TAM, is so much smaller compared to the dream followers TAM. So let me break this down again. If you think of it like this, your dream follower is going to have a way bigger TAM. You can reach so many more people if you make content for your dream follower. Compared to if you're making it just for your ICP, the amount of people you're able to reach is so much smaller. But the thing that a lot of people get mixed up is that your ICP will always fall within your dream follower. So if you're making content for your dream follower, you have more TAM, and therefore you'll be pushing your content to more people and increasing the amount of people that not only like your content, but are potential buyers. And that's the kicker, right? If you're looking to expand and grow your business, or even just start it, do not make the mistake of just making content for your ICP. And we'll get into that a little bit later, but you need to be making content for your dream follower as well. But you may also want to know, how do you make the content, Blake? Well, I'm going to break it down into 4 very easy questions that you can ask yourself to identify your dream follower and then to therefore make content for your dream follower. What does your dream follower look like? So is your dream follower 18 to 25-year-olds? Do they enjoy fitness? Do they enjoy working? Do they enjoy making money online? Do they enjoy financial freedom? Are they digital nomads? Get broad, but don't be too broad. Be a little bit concise, but you want to be thinking about who on the other side of the screen is consuming your content. You next want to think about what content they're already consuming. So one way I like to do this is, if I want to make content for my dream follower, 99% of the time, the dream follower is going to be yourself to a certain degree. What content are you already consuming? So for me, for example, I consume a lot of Daniel Dalen. So I look at what content Daniel Dalen is making. So therefore, my dream follower is consuming Daniel Dalen style content. I'm then able to branch off and figure out the content styles that I can make. So for someone like me, if my dream follower is already consuming POV or raw content, I'm going to make raw POV content to therefore attract my dream follower. Another really important thing that I see people get mixed up on is, where does your dream follower spend most of their time online? I see way too many people, and I made the mistake of just picking one platform. You need to be omnipresent in 2026. If you are just on Instagram, you're falling behind. If you're just on YouTube, you're also falling behind. If you're on TikTok, you're also falling behind. You need to be across every single platform, or as many as possible. Even LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a gold mine if you are a business owner or a founder. It is legit free game. So think about where your dream follower is. If they're on LinkedIn, make it for LinkedIn. If they're on YouTube, make YouTube content. If they're on Instagram, make Instagram content. It's pretty simple. But you want to be posting to where your dream follower is going to be consuming the content. Don't skip a platform. Another really important thing is the formats are they used to. There is no point, if my dream follower is a young entrepreneur, there is no point in me making a how to study guide. That format on how to study does not link in with my dream follower. Likewise, someone that may run a studying channel is not going to make a POV day in the life of running a business. It's not going to appeal. They're very broad, but you get the gist. You want to be copying those formats. And you can even go deeper. And if the people you're watching and the people that your dream follower are watching are creating things like split screen POVs on Instagram, where it's talking head on the top and mirror board on the bottom, create that content like this video is right now. Or are people consuming raw yaps, where these are people just talking and giving value and belief breaking content straight to their phone? Put it on there. Copy that content, because that's the format that your dream follower is already going to be used to. Now, moving on. The next thing is messaging hierarchy. Now, you'll notice this looks a little bit like a very basic marketing funnel from top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. But my company uses this to kind of break down the funnel another layer so that we can kind of figure out what are we hitting with our dream follower and ICP in each step, not just the overall funnel, because your funnel can be across multiple platforms, but your messaging, or what we call the messaging hierarchy, is the overarching theme. So we kind of look at top of funnel as belief messages, and this is how people are going to decide if they care about you. So you want to be thinking POVs, value, identity, and lived experiences. So showcasing your story or a POV, a day in your life, what do you stand for? Showcasing you, and also creating viral content. Oh, look at the handwriting go. Viral. Right, this is also, depending on your dream follower, viral content is really important to a certain degree, and posting it on trial reels if you're on Instagram to really boost the amount of people that are coming in through your top of funnel. The second bit, or middle of funnel, is problem messages. This is where you're going to build resonance or rapport, but not revenue. So you're not going to really make any sales, or you're going to make very limited sales in the middle of the funnel or with problem messaging. And this is where you're going to be hitting at pain points, awareness, and you'll want to match your language to your audience. Because I'll break this down a little bit further, but you don't want to be using language that your dream follower doesn't understand in your in your top of funnel content. Same way you don't want to use bottom of funnel language in your top of funnel content, because your bottom of funnel is for your ICP. Your ICP are going to have a higher level of thinking. They're going to understand what you're talking about. Your top of funnel may not. So just make sure you're not getting them mixed up and you're not overcomplicating them. But we'll get into that a little bit later. The bottom of funnel is the decision messages. This is where people are going to decide to act. So really, this is your bread and butter. This is where you're going to make the sale. And this all comes down to proof, call to action, and offers. It's a pretty simple formula. You want to have results. Again, results. If you're a service-based business, offers, what are you offering to your people, and call to actions. So follow me or comment X for my free ebook, funnel them into and get their email, put them in an email sequence. Now, I try to join these two together, the dream follower and ICP and the messaging hierarchy, because I believe it all comes to form this intentional content funnel. And we all know this funnel, like I was just showing you. It's top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Very basic. And my company uses these to help distill it a little bit more. But you could look at your favorite creators and they all follow the same funnel. And they all follow this exact messaging. So let's use Eamon Gadzhi, for example. If we look at his top of funnel content, he posted this 11 days ago. disappear and come back unrecognizable in 2026. 351k views. So if we were breaking down his content, his dream follower is going to be these entrepreneurs or people that want to lock in, and online business people. I could probably break it down a little bit more, but that's the gist of it. Now, in this video, he is not going to be using language matching or proof or offers. He's going to be showing his POV, his values, his identity, and they're the values and identity of his dream follower. And as we all know, the ICP also falls within dream follower. So this initially is the first touch point for people coming into his funnel. You're then going to move into other videos like the 3 AI businesses that will make you $373 a day with 0 employees, 198k views. You can also see that this is funnel based on top of funnel will always have more views compared to middle of funnel and bottom of funnel. It's just the way it works because, again, if we go back to the diagram, the TAM decreases. So in his middle of funnel videos, that's when he starts introducing awareness, language matching, pain points. He starts speaking more to his ICP. And then again, as we move down, bottom of funnel, this is where he's really going to nurture those people, have call to actions, offers, process, and proof. And he's definitely got a call to action on this video as well, but it's just a little bit of background as to where you want to be placing those types of messaging. In brand signals, this is the third and final type of stage that I believe everyone falls in when they're just feeling like nothing's clicking. And like I've got here, my brand looks fine, but it still feels off. And it can come down to lots of things. It can come down to your camera quality, the audio you're using, everything. Everything is a brand signal at the end of the day, and everything is a touch point for your dream follower and ICP. But I break it down into 2 main things that I find are most common: visual signals and language signals. At a very base level, your visual signals is recognition and expectation. So this is what people are going to be assuming before even reading or listening a word from you. And that's things like your color palette, typography, layout, consistency, editing style, and camera quality. Like I mentioned before, if you look at my videos, probably more now than before, my color palette is going to be very consistent. I've even gone to the extent that this is the same color here. It's the same color all over this board. It's just different shades. You'll also see my typography. I use Inter Bold on everything. Every single, Inter, the font face, either Inter Bold or Inter Medium, everywhere. On all my reels, YouTube, everywhere. You can also see my editing style is pretty consistent. I don't really over edit anything. I keep it pretty raw. If I stumble on a word, I'll leave it in. I don't really care. I'm pretty human. And I just don't spend hours editing. I don't like over edited content. I think it looks good, but when you're watching my content, it's me. And my camera quality, look, that's slowly improving. And I don't think that you should be limiting your brand based on your camera quality. The next is language signals. This is how confident and clear you sound. So you don't want to be talking about ICP jargon in your top of funnel. And I write that here. Leave the jargon for the ICP. And if we go back to Iman Gadzhi here, and if we look at our messaging signals, our messaging hierarchy, he wouldn't be using his ICP language that is just for business owners in this video. He may use snippets of it, but he's not going to be using jargon. He's not going to be talking about the in-depth details in that video, but he will as they move through the funnel. And another thing to really lock in on, especially when you're delivering content, is the way in which you speak. If you're confident, you need to believe in what you're saying. And you don't want to be having these long, drawn-out sentences, especially if you've got the ability to edit them and you're not going for that raw kind of 14-minute long video that I'm doing right now where I'm just talking. You have the ability to edit it. So take the time, edit it, make everything intentional. And when you're making everything intentional, you're increasing your clarity, right? And if you're increasing your clarity, more people can understand your message and therefore you can make more sales. Another rule of thumb that I think everyone has heard is you want to keep your scripts to a grade 6 to 10 reading length. A reading level. That's wrong. Reading level. And the reason for this is, again, a little bit of TAM, total accessible market. The average is around 6 to 10 in a reading level. If you start making higher than that, the more people can't understand your content. Therefore, they're not going to watch, therefore, they won't buy or they won't follow you. Pretty simple. So, that's in a nutshell why I believe personal brands feel disconnected. I think you're either missing 1, 2, or 3. I don't think you're missing all of them. You'd probably be missing your messaging hierarchy and understanding it a little bit more, or you may be missing brand signals. I think a lot of people know their ICP. There's a lot of ICP resources out there that so many people know how to do it. Dream follower may be a little bit untapped, but you're probably going to be hitting 1 or 2 out of 3. And in reality, in a perfect world, you want to be hitting all 3. So if you do need some help, just book a one-on-one call with me below. Links in the description. And thank you for watching.